Hey guys, welcome back to Face with Tarrance Weaver. I'm Tarrance Weaver, and we have a very special show for you today. As I was going back, reviewing my book, thinking about different things in my life, I realized that Face to Face is bigger than just a book. I'm here in Chicago, and as I was going through Chicago and the neighborhoods and meeting different people, I realized that my story was their story, that we all have similar stories in life. And I realized that Face to Face was a book that I wrote, but now we're coming face to face with the lives of Chicago. And during this process, I thought about this one specific time in my life where I was face to face with my brother's killer. And I thought about the anger and the hate that I had inside of me and what I wanted to do to him. For many years, he got 16 years and got out in 8, but many years I thought about what I was gonna do and how I was gonna do it. And even why I was gonna do it. It made sense to me. And over the time, as it was passing by, I realized that there are other people here in Chicago that was going through the same exact thing. And I met a very special guy named Vail who was experiencing some of the same things that I was going through. And I decided to bring him on the show today to talk to us, and we're gonna have his face-to-face encounter. So before we get started, I have my rock star, Candace, to my left here.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And I also have Vail over here on my right.
How y'all doing?
So we're gonna get started here. So as normal, I'm gonna allow Candace to go ahead with her questions to ask Vail as we go through this.
So, Vail, first of all, thank you for coming out. Like, I know we held you hostage, but we're so glad that you're here. You know, just to the audience, so you guys know, when Tarrance, myself, and Jay, you know, Jay's our camera guy. He keeps this thing dope. But when we get together, we brainstorm, right? We have all these conversations, and it's always around the book, but it's just life. And Tarrance, you know, was telling us about your story and who you were. And it was more like he was telling us about one of his good buddies. So we got excited about the conversation, and we realized how it linked to so much of what we had been talking about already. And he got you on the phone. You said yes, and that's how we got here today. So there's so many questions, but I would love if you would start with telling everybody why you're here, and I guess we can go from there, because I've got plenty of questions, don't worry.
All right. The reason I agreed to do this is because I want to be part of the change.
Yes.
You know, I just want to make sure our voices is heard like anybody else's voice.
When you say our voice, you're from the city of Chicago.
Yeah,
you're from the what? South side of
South
Chicago. So you're speaking from every black youth, every young man.
I'm speaking from like the gangbangers, you know, the people that's just outcasts, you know, the people that stereotype, you know, the people that don't get to tell they reason behind things.
Yes.
You know,
I love it.
And people don't know the real purpose of the things we do, why we do them. You feel me? How we forced to do certain things to live.
Gotcha.
So I just want to be part of the voice that tells everybody else that.
That's my favorite part. So as soon as I met Vail, we all had a couple of conversations. We wanted to know a little bit about each other. And that's kind of where you hit, like your heart, the fact that you care. And I think we all have the same purpose of being here. Like we all genuinely care about our hoods, our cities, our streets. And people still say gangbang. So my mom says it, and I didn't know it was still a thing.
I mean, shit, like, it's only like used because that's the word they use to define our brotherhood. But to us, y'all look at us as gangbangers, but we look at each other as brothers, you know, and the obstacles we face together every day, it draw us closer together as brothers.
Man,
you know?
I just like hashtag literally, like you could hashtag that, like brothers. Everyone wants to say, and you defined it, right? So this is your definition. And no matter what we're saying on the outside or what anyone is saying on the outside, you can call them thugs or thieves or whatever, but you're saying we're brothers.
Yeah, you can call us what you want because you don't live the everyday life we live. You know, you're looking in from the outside.
That's right.
So you can say what you want.
So we're talking about the everyday life, face to face with everyday life. You were telling me earlier, you were telling all of us earlier that this is your life, but you didn't choose this life. Can you break that down for us?
I mean, what I meant by that was I didn't choose this lifestyle of having to carry guns, having to deal with some of the shit I deal with every day. You know, I used to hoop and hang with the guys every day. You know, we met up in the same spot. We damn near did the same shit. You feel me? But once it's put, like, it's basically like your loyalty tested. You know, you do something to my close friend and expect me to just allow it. You know, or you do something to us as a whole and we faced with the life and death situation. It's either y'all gonna get us or we gonna get y'all. Like, it's a dog eat dog world, but people don't understand that shit, like, from my point of view.
And that's just brought down from generation to generation.
Man, honestly, I could just speak from my generation, because a lot of this shit I don't know where it came from.
Really?
You know, me growing up and understanding how that shit used to go, it was a lot of organization in it.
Okay.
You feel me? Like, it ain't no order. It ain't no order no more. It's like, it's no leaders. You know, it's people with voices like myself, you know, and I try to lead, but it ain't too many people that want to follow nowadays, you know, so even if you guide in the right way, you know, sometimes you can't guide somebody that don't want to be guided.
That's true. That's true, and I guess the old saying is, it goes something like, without a lead, the whole army just falls. So you're just seeing all these deaths and all these killings and all these little bitty gangs building here and there because there's no leadership. And not that, I mean, I'm saying there should be leadership amongst gangs, but I do believe in order.
I mean, I do too.
And I think we all believe in order, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, right? So, let me, take me to, Tarrance, take me to when you met Vail. Like, how did that go? And what made you comfortable with having conversations? Like, what made you comfortable trusting this dude? He's not from Chicago. he has an accent. Like, where did this brotherhood between you two come from?
Because I'm from South Carolina.
You want to answer that?
Yeah, so as written in the book, I went through a stage in my life to where I didn't want to live no more. God brought me to Chicago, is where I ended. And as I was in Chicago, I was surrounded with my church family and the bishop and his wife, and they had me, you know, embodied, which gave me opportunity to change my thought process. As I was going through that process, I was over at the church and we had a basketball program going on, I guess Friday nights.
Yeah, open gym.
Yeah, open gym on Friday nights, and the kids would come in and they'll play. And I think at the time he was probably about 21. And he was in there running ball, like all of his guys would come in and they just open up to the neighborhood for the most part. And all of these kids would come in, which to me it was scary. Because you got, from my understanding with gangs and streets, is pretty much your street and the guys that you rock with can be a gang. And then the next street over can be a whole nother gang of other guys, possibly the same gang.
In some scenarios it'd be like that.
Yeah, so to open it up to, you know, we got like, 50, 60 kids and, you know, running the ball, and that's kind of scary because you know, like maybe only 10 or 15 on the street.
Yeah.
So as we got to, you know, balling and playing and me seeing him every day, I realized that he had like a leadership mentality going on, which I admired. I see the guys would kind of come up to him and they would fall in order whenever he was there, and I didn't really understand it at the time. But as time went on, I started asking him questions, getting to know him, and then I realized that he said he wanted to make a difference. And I didn't know what that difference was until we sat down and we did our first recording and we had a long talk, and I realized that he could definitely be the difference.
Wow, that's dope. Okay. Yeah. So would you say, like, this was at the church, would you say like the church was Switzerland? Like everybody could come there and not fight because at this moment we just want to have a good time? Is that what it was?
I mean, from my point of view, that's not what it was.
How?
You know, it's just that most of us that was coming to the church kind of knew each other.
Okay.
And we all had that same respect for Pastor Moody. Okay. You know, like we all love Pastor Moody. He always been there, always made sure we hooped, you know.
Gotcha.
So we all respected him and we all came in there literally to hoop, you know. And me and my boys, like, we not like a lot of gangs or a lot of brotherhoods, establishments, or organization, whatever you want to label us as. We're not the same. You know, we don't just go looking for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we came to hoop.
Okay.
So that's what we came to do, and that's what we did. We put on the show and we left.
Gotcha. So there's a story that Tarrance was telling us that one day you were face to face with I would presume is your enemy at the moment, and both of you had an opportunity to take either of you could have died that day.
Yeah.
And in walked, I like to say, this angel of a person walking around, but in walks this guy, and he pretty much put an end to what could have been. Right? The outcome was different now.
Yeah, he changed the outcome.
Yeah. Like this story like gives me goosebumps. So if you don't mind giving them a quick rundown of what that's like, and then I, got some follow-up questions about it, of course.
So one day, I left at my house.
How long ago was this, by the way?
I say this like 3 years ago, almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Not that far away. Okay.
It probably like 3 years at the most. So me and one of the guys, we was leaving, going to get some blunts. And we walked out the back, and we ran into one of the ops, right then and up,
What's the op?
The enemy, the opposite side, the person you don't get along with, So basically, as soon as he saw us, I really didn't notice that was him. It really caught me off guard, but my boy, he was on point. He like, bro, that's woo. But at the time of him putting me on game, dude already peeped us. And he pointed his gun at us. And then instead of him shooting, he just was talking shit. You feel me? So my homie saw the gun and he basically got out of line of fight. I just jumped to the side and I pulled mine,
Which is typically how it goes, right?
Yeah.
You have yours, I have mine.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's how it should be if you gotta protect yourself. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna protect you how you'll protect yourself.
Gotcha.
So basically, it was a guy he was talking to, the whole reason he was there. And the guy was a mutual friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know they knew each other at the time or nothing. But when he seen it, he immediately engaged in our altercation and he put both arms around me. He grabbed me, basically shielding me from him, but making sure I can't shoot as well.
So this guy who is on the streets too, he knows both of you, literally stepped in and put himself in danger.
Basically.
But what you said that was so important, originally it was he saved you.
I mean, I feel like it wasn't even that he saved me. He just made the gesture to save both of us.
That's the part I love. Like, he was thinking of everybody in this scenario.
Yeah, it wasn't that he was just thinking, oh, Vail or this dude. He like, damn, I know both for sure,
Right.
I'm gonna try to diffuse it, and that's what he did. Like, he wasn't taking no for an answer, and because of him, we both left that situation unharmed, and we both made it to see a different day.
And that's what we need, period. When someone's gonna say, I care enough, and I'm not taking no for an answer, and I'm gonna make sure that I care on both sides. That's what we need. Like, you're here talking, we can't say, I want the city of Chicago to be safe without saying we want you to be safe too. There's not an option. There's no in between. And if we don't get that right as viewers, as citizens, as community leaders, we cannot keep waking up every day saying these are thugs and we must do something. Yeah, we have to save their lives. And if we don't take that serious, then we're not ready. Sorry, I digress. I'm pissed about it. So, that was like, to me, Tarrance, your pause concept in the book. I'm going to step out and let you guys talk about the pause concept and how that related to this situation. Because if I remember correctly, Vail, you said you didn't want him to step in at that moment. But then later you saw something better in it.
I mean, after the altercation and I had time to smoke and calm down.
Yeah.
I was mad at him, but I understood why he did what he did.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I didn't so much be mad at him, but I definitely respected him for even putting himself in that situation. And I applaud him because it could have went up. You feel me? Like, it could have turned into something totally different. It would have been a completely different outcome for me and him, no matter which way the shit would have went. You know, whether I would have got hurt or him, it still would have been a different outcome for me.
Right.
Whether I was on either end, you know.
Gotcha.
So.
And I love the fact that he sacrificed his life. And what I mean by that is he literally stepped in, hugging you, turning his back to the gun pointing out the window that's yelling at you, and you still yelling at them.
My face was pointed towards him. His back was towards him. But he knew that with him being in the middle, he would not fire a shot.
And at any point in time, had that guy shot a warning shot in the air, you were still gonna turn thinking he's shooting at you.
No,
and your goal.
It's over with for everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody would have got hurt.
Yeah.
You feel me? Maybe including me, but I wasn't gonna stand there and find out if that was a warning shot or not.
And the reason that you yourself was mad at him is because you felt like you needed to protect you and him. Because the dude has a gun pointed at y'all. Now it's y'all, not just you, but it's y'all the moment that he came in to save you.
Yeah, and I didn't know at the time that dude didn't shoot because he really did have that level of respect for him, and that's the reason that he felt comfortable enough to do that.
Wow.
You know, and I wouldn't have knew that if I didn't give him the chance to tell me from what he felt from his point of view.
That's
later
amazing.
on, you know.
I mean, in all honesty, how many of you would actually turn around and step in between a bullet that is meant for somebody else, or possibly a bullet that's meant for somebody else, to save a friend? I don't know many people that would. I mean, even in my own close circle, I don't know that many people that
Right,
would
family
be
members.
like, yeah, family members. Like, I would definitely do it for my son.
Right.
But, you know, as I started thinking out, like, as far as friends, I don't know if I would literally jump in between, you know, some people to save a life of that magnitude. And like you said earlier, here in Chicago, we need to be on that level. We need to step up. We need to vocalize. We need to help. And we need to be the difference that Chicago needs. But not only that, in what other ways would you want to help change Chicago? The gang life. Like, you have the knowledge of the gang life. Let's say like me, for instance, when I first got here, I ain't know nothing about Chicago. I would get warnings from people on the street saying, Mr. Tarrance, go home because somebody on this street was shot and they're looking to shoot anybody on this street. And in my mind, that blew my mind. Because I'm like, wait, what? They're gonna just shoot anybody? And he's like, anybody that's out. And I would start hearing the stories. 2 girls on, you know, this street was shot. You know, and then they went over and retaliated and somebody on this street was killed. And then they coming back. And just to think that mentality is crazy. But not only that, you're speaking of brothers and brotherhood. Is that how your brotherhood got started? By being on the street, on a certain street, and your friends were formed that way? As in like gang mentality, or how was that? Was it just random friends from school, or?
I mean, it was a little bit of everything, you know. These was the guys I see every day. Like, we all live in this one big ass building. You feel me? So when we come out, we run into each other. We all just was cool. Most of us went to school together. You know, even some of the other side niggas, like, most of us went to school together, you know. And like I said, at first, we wasn't too quick to play with guns. You feel me? We wasn't really doing that shit. Like, we was chilling, being kids, having fun, and being reckless, you know, just doing stupid shit.
Right.
But
like any kid would do, any neighborhood would do, yeah.
But, you know, it's like, when your life threatened, you know, what else could you do? When you got police out here that ain't doing shit.
So let's talk about that. Because, again, if I'm on one spectrum, I'm on all of it. So I don't believe in harming street guys. I don't believe in harming police officers. I don't believe in, I believe that everyone needs to be protected and loved, right? However, I do understand that this is the reality that we live in, and not everyone sees it that way. So we have police officers who may come in and do nothing, but I'm sure on one level, we have some that may come in and make a difference. Mm-hmm. Has that been your experience? In any capacity?
I've had so many experiences with police, and I was starting by saying, like, fuck the police, you know. And why I say that is because they always look at us to be wrong. Like, they just waiting on shit. Like, they sit on corners and wait to hear gunshots instead of trying to find a way to prevent the gunshots. You feel me? Like, instead of them pulling up to a call with a person with a gun and doing the right fucking procedure that they learned in the academy, they pull up guns out shooting. You know, so what are we left to do? You know, we can't even trust them. You know, and I know I can't, because I lost my brother to the police. You know, and I know ins and outs to everything that was done, the precautions that was taken for them to cover the shit up and everything. You know, so I just don't trust them. You know, I can say all polices do not have the same intentions. All of them not bad, you know, but at the same time, you know, because I'm a real nigga. You feel me? Like, I'm a real nigga, and I'm gonna look at shit from every point of view before I speak. You know.
Okay.
All polices ain't bad, and I say that because I've had polices that literally tried to help me. You know,
Okay.
I recently, a couple months ago, it was a police officer that be outside one of the guys' crib. Like, every time I go over there, he be in front of the crib just patrolling, I guess. And he saw my pants sagging one day when I was going into a convenience store around the hood. And he stopped me, he like, boy, pull your pants up. You feel me? I pulled my pants up. I came back out, they was kind of sagging again, but I ain't got no ass. You feel me? Like, I ain't having no belt. So my pants were sagging again. And he was just like, man, I told you to pull your pants up. If you pull your pants up, I probably helped you get a job.
Wow.
And when he said that, it's 360.
So
and
that
I'm
was
like,
a
so you
level
can
of
help me get a
respect.
job?
Yeah.
And he like took, my phone died at the time. So he took my phone, he put it on the charger in the police car. He wrote down all the information he was trying to send me to on the internet because my phone was dead. And most of the job opportunities he gave me was like real job opportunities. Like, he was really trying to help. And he told me, like, I just wish other guys I try to help take the approach that you took to accepting it.
Wow.
You know, so I've been encountered with a few cool police officers, but the ones just like us, you know, like the ones that's really fucked up out here and do this shit because they think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, they fuck it up for niggas like me that do this shit because they ain't had no choice. You feel me? Police that's bogus out here fuck it up for the good ones. You know?
Have you ever taken into perspective? There's a thing where you see something over and over again, so you become more cautious, or you're prone to believe the worst. There are some police officers who have worked the streets for so long, they no longer believe there's good. And I believe that's among police officers, healthcare workers, teachers, whatever.
Yeah.
Because we get into, it's like you're jilted. You no longer, it's like a woman who's like, there are no good men out because all of her dating has gone bad. So can we possibly take into perspective that some of them have seen the worst, and it's hard to come back from it? Yeah. And this is where I go with this, because I believe maintenance has to happen. If there are gang members who had no choice, such as yourself, and there are police officers who are willing to tell you to pull your pants up and I'll give you a job, they have to be the gap, the bridging of the gap, to say, you know what, it's not all what you think. But then they have to step up and say, my brother, you can't do this to them just because you've been jilted. And I think that that's a perspective, and you being a voice, to me, you just did the most profound thing. You bridged the gap. Because you started off saying F the police. And I was like, oh.
That's the reason I feel that way.
Yeah. So there's two sides to the story, and they always have to be told. There's there's two sides, and then there's a middle. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to get it all. Yeah.
And it's just like crazy out here nowadays. Like, people don't be wanting to listen to nothing you gotta say if you ain't a certain person, or if you ain't behind a certain person, or you're not connected to a certain person. Like, your voice don't be heard, you know. And it's really the voices that's not being heard, the ones that need to be heard in order to find some change in this shit, or, you know, find some type of solution to some of the problems.
Right.
You know, just like people say all the time, when you want something different, you gotta do something you never done.
That's true.
You know, when you want a different outcome, you gotta approach it different. You know, and I just learned that from being in the streets for so long and also being on, I would say, this side of the table, because I'm a versatile person. You know, won't nobody know my life unless I tell them, unless they catch me in the act of doing something. You know, I walk around like this, dressed like this every day. You know, and I always look in the good into anybody. If you haven't personally done nothing to me, I'm always gonna look at you as good first. You know, and I'm gonna give you a chance to make me feel otherwise before I just judge you. You know, and that's the problem. People out here judging and they not living this shit. Like, how could you judge me and you never lived a day in my shoes?
Right.
You don't know how we affected.
Right.
You know, so
I'm actually glad you went there. Cause when I first got here, I was terrified of Chicago. I would get phone calls from my dad like, "Are you sure you want to be here? I think you should move." And I'm like, I feel like this is what God brought me. But at the same time, being in the building and hearing gunshots every night, you know, a lot of nights, looking out the window, seeing bodies, you know, laying on the concrete out there. And it's just like, it's crazy. I can even remember the first body I saw, like coming to Chicago and just laying on the sidewalk. And then within minutes after, the body is gone, the red tape is gone, and people walking over the spot where the guy was just laying. And it just blew my mind. Like, it never happened. And over time, you just start thinking, it does desensitize you. It does put you in a scenario where you've seen the worst and the worst and the worst. And before you know it, 8 bodies in, after seeing at least 8 other bodies, it don't even bother me no more. Like, that first day, I literally went around the whole day like thinking about that guy and who he was and his family and all the other stuff. And then later, it's just kind of like somebody else was shot. Like, oh well, and you just keep it moving. Just like the people that's walking over the body spot. And it just blows my mind. But even with Vail and where he came from and the lifestyle, you're saying that you don't have a choice. And some people will be like, will probably say this. You have a choice. I mean, you can either pick up the gun, or you can move, or you can get out of the scenario. You can make a choice. You chose the gang life.
I mean,
what would you say? No.
I mean, to a certain extent, like I say, I wouldn't say I chose it. You know, I would say more that it chose me, but I would be completely honest and say I embraced it. You feel me? Why? Because if you face with something and you don't adapt, you're not gonna get the outcome that you need out of it. You know, you have to adapt to anything you face with in life, you know, in order to get through it. And that's what the fuck we was faced with. You know, like, I did have a choice to move, but when this shit happened, I was too young to even make my own money.
Yeah.
You feel me? I did have a choice to stay in a crib, but what black kid want to stay in a crib every day? You know, I did have a choice to hang with some different people, but that still puts me in the same situation of going through it with these new motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's one of the reasons I kind of say we don't have a choice, because even if we felt like, all right, we're not going to get involved, they still coming. They came, we don't retaliate. They're coming back. So at some point you like, damn, they not going to stop. Like, what the fuck do I do? I have to adapt.
You adapt to your surroundings.
Hell yeah. You know, with no problem, you know.
So they're like, why even pick up a gun? You know, why even choose? So in your mindset, if you don't have a gun, then you left naked or without a gun, then you're an easy target.
I mean, my mindset has changed a little bit because of the shit I've faced, you know, and the situations I've been in. But at the same time, like, my pipe cover, that motherfucking part of my outfit, you know? It's part of my outfit, you know? And I feel like we don't have the protection we need in order to be like, you know what? That's for that, and I'm going this way.
What protection
No,
would you say that would be?
I mean,
in your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't even know completely, but I know I would like for all these amazing polices out here to actually do their job, you know, and just police, you know, instead of killing us and doing shit like it's just, man, it's a lot with the police. Like, we don't have half of the protection we need on these streets, even as regular citizens. I'm not even speaking from our lifestyle point of view anymore. I'm speaking from the whole world. Like, Just because you choose to throw both of your chains on today in a nice watch with a nice shirt, you look robbable, bro.
Yeah.
Just because you ain't got your eyes bucked and you look mellow, you look like a stain, bro.
What's a stain?
A lick.
Someone that should be.
You look like somebody that I could take down, something I can get something for with ease. You know, like, that's how people look at people. So when you faced with shit like that, like, what are you to do besides adapt? When the people that's above ain't showing no process of change, you know, they're not doing nothing to make nothing no better for you individually. So what are you left to do?
So here's a question I ask myself a lot. You know, I watch the news. I'm not from the city of Chicago. I do work in the city of Chicago. I have recreational in the city of Chicago. And because I'm not from here, and because I didn't grow up with this lifestyle around me, we are always on guard. If I date in the city of Chicago, it's like, yo, let me Google where your address is so that I know. And then I ask questions. I mean, this is a real thing because the city of Chicago has its own awareness now. Like, it is a true awareness. And but I am on one side of the spectrum where I treat or help medically intervene for people who are harmed in the city of Chicago, right? So, but I always ask myself, these gangs, these people who are hurting, because this is really what it is, these people who feel they have no choice, and as my man John Hope Bryan has said, the scariest person on the street today is a man who believes he has no choice. And because then they will take and they will kill because they feel they have no choice. Mm-hmm. And I've asked myself a million times, you're a Christian, right? Or you believe in God.
Yes, I do.
Believe in Jesus. And I always say, gangs, and criminals and criminal activity cannot be bigger than God's purpose, cannot be bigger than an entire city. So something can be done. And I don't think that we're doing our best because there's no way that everyone can run loose the way that they have. The carjackings that are happening now. Insane. There has to be a reason. Are we even trying to figure it out? Where are we going? They're not just carjacked, they're carjacking bobos now. Like, you know, think past the like, okay, it just happens. Where are we going with this? So I know that these gangs are not bigger, and I know that the killings are not bigger than every citizen that lives here. So I guess I'm saying to you guys, like, what do you think? Because where do we go from here? We're all sitting here on different sides of the spectrum, and we all want the same thing. If that's true, we're not the only three.
So let me go first, Val. Yeah. So basically, what I'm looking at is this. In the book, I tell you, my brother was shot and killed.
Yes.
The moment that he was killed,
yes,
I instantly wanted to become a killer.
Mindset shifted.
It did. Like, I was this happy kid. My brother was everything to me. And then the moment that my brother was murdered, I wanted to get revenge.
Okay.
So my mindset went to, I can't wait till this dude get out. Because I want to murder him. I want to kill him. That was for many years, I even thought about and planned and all of this stuff. And I was going through everyday life and everybody thought everything was fine. But my goal was to get revenge. But he got 16 years and got out in 8. So when the opportunity came, by then time had changed my thought process, but I felt like I had no choice. My brother needed me to get revenge. So normally whenever there's a death that happens, there's at least 2 to 3 killers or the top 3 people in their life, you know, want to get revenge and they're really close to them. And I think that's what creates a bond between brothers.
It does. Man, that's one of the biggest reasons, like, it be like that. You know, like, motherfuckers gotta understand, like, people that ain't part of this, they get shot and die. They families be hurting. You know, people that's actually part of this, we hurting, and they families are hurting as well. You know, when our homies died, we done been friends 10, 20 years, some of us, you know?
Yeah.
And now we gotta deal with losing him, and sometimes the family looking at us like it's our fault. You know, so we got shit we gotta deal with that's bigger than how people look at us. You know, and I've embraced the characteristics of the lifestyle that I'm living, you know, because we don't deserve to be looked at how we looked at, you know, because we got a purpose. We really do got a purpose.
You're absolutely
Most
right.
of us just be trying to find a way to put food on the table. Like, motherfuckers don't understand. Like, just me looking how I look renders me from so many doors being open. You know, as good as my vocabulary is, as good as I can hold the conversation, as smart as I am and the credentials I got, no one would know that because of my appearance. And we half of the time stereotype through the door.
Right.
You know, so when I go on interviews or something, I have to really make sure like everything is to the T on my appearance, because if they don't want to see me, they don't want to hear me.
Right.
You know, and that's part of what's going on, bro. Like, our voices ain't been heard, and they don't know how we feeling. They don't know what we go through, and they can't relate because they've never been through it. And half of the people around them that's helping them judge us has never been through half of the shit we've been through. You know, this is a real hard lifestyle to live, and I can truly say that it's really people out here that don't choose this shit. You know, it's really people like that.
How do you, I'm sorry, Candace, is it okay if I ask
Yeah,
something?
go ahead.
How did you explain not choosing this? Like, I know you said some things, but walk me through. You started off as a kid having a good time living around other kids, but there's a shift. Obviously, there was a shift.
I mean, yeah.
Is that in your own household? Is that just around, like,
I mean,
did you?
it plays, all that plays a part, like, from my point of view, because I can't speak for everybody, but I can tell you to my best ability from my point of view.
Okay.
You know, and my household situation did kind of play a part.
Okay.
You know, but I would not completely blame it on that, because I got good, my parents was good, you know, like, I had people throughout my life that even stepped in, you know, and guided me the right way. You know, it's just, once you in that shit, bro, and like, a motherfucker take one of your brothers, like, that shit hurt for real. You feel me? This nigga walking around, the police won't go get him if you told them to. Like, we can't tell, like, we ain't finna snitch on nobody. Like, it's a lot of rules to this shit. You feel me? Like, it's a lot of rules. Like, you losing people. And we just supposed to grieve regular, knowing that the motherfucker didn't did it walking around. Like, one God made a man to be a rock, bro. We the protectors. You know, we the ones that hold order. You know, I'm not saying a man is no bigger than the woman, but we the muscle. If we let shit fly, who gon' step up behind us and stop it from flying?
So you believe then in this scenario that if there were more arrests, more people held accountable for what they've done, then you wouldn't have to take matters in. Some of you wouldn't have to take matters into your own hands.
Not even so much as that. I just feel like if motherfucker gave us the same opportunity, you know, to like, okay, your family member killed. They gonna investigate that shit and find out what happened. But a motherfucker from one of our hoods died, they said just cause the corner they was found laying on, oh, it's gang related. Now they treating this like nothing. It's just another shooting. Like, they don't investigate it or nothing. Like, they don't give us the same, I don't know, I can't even find a word. Like, we just don't get treated the same.
Yeah,
you know,
not the
as
same,
a regular,
investigation.
everyday person.
Gotcha.
You know, and that shit ain't fair, man.
So I got a question. So you said something that made a light go off in my head. You said that you want the police to do their job, but then you also said previously that you won't snitch. So that kind of contradicts each other. But why is there a...
I mean, just because we won't tell, don't mean the community won't tell.
So
shit,
even with
ain't that who telling? They gotta do their job.
But from my understanding, if someone tells and they're not part of the gangs, but they're in the community, their lives are then at stake. Is that the truth? Is that really what we're dealing with here?
I mean, not in my eyes.
Okay.
Cause I done seen a lot of motherfuckers and told, you feel me, like, that shit really I don't know. Like, I can't really answer that question, because you can't fault a motherfucker that ain't involved and that don't got nothing to do with it, you can't fault them telling what they done saw, you know? But a motherfucker involved in this shit, and you go back and tell, now that's different.
And those are the rules that you speak about.
That's different, yeah. Like how you gonna do something, then when it happen to you, you gonna tell. Like that's not how it works. You know, it's different from when one of us tell than when a fucking innocent bystander that just saw the shit open their mouth.
Gotcha.
So what makes so many innocent bystanders not want to tell? Is it fear? Is it truly retaliation?
Possibly. It's possibly, you know, like I said, and I'm gonna repeat, I can't speak for everybody, you know, so just out my knowledge that I know people do be scared to speak up, you know, and then it's just like the communities be so tight, like motherfuckers in the community be knowing what's going on, and they know like these boys out here, but they not out here doing, like they be knowing after you get control and have not so much control, but once you get a connection with your community, you know, because me and my brothers, like, we all kind of was, like, connected in the community. Like, everybody know us. You know, we all, like, everybody know everybody. You know, so they seeing us just hooping. They seeing us chilling by ourselves, not bothering nobody. So when they see us on the other side shooting back at a crowd of niggas, they like, it gotta be a reason.
Okay.
You know, it's just about how you connect to your community and how you also got to take care of your community, you know?
So it's almost out of love. I don't want to lock them up when they may have had to protect themselves.
I mean, like, that's all you can really say. You know, I'm not doing this shit because, oh, he better than the nigga that's shooting. No, I love this nigga. And if you hurt this nigga, it's going to hurt me. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the same as people that's not even involved that lose people to the shit.
Right.
Them be people, like he say, innocent person get killed. Now you got another person that wasn't even involved. That mindset automatically flipped. They took my person.
Yeah.
You know, and 9 times out of 10, knowing in this generation the police ain't gonna do shit. So a person's first mindset is to do something themselves. It
so
takes
do you
strong
think
mind.
a special task force in dealing with how deaths appear on the street would be beneficial?
I just feel like motherfuckers need more opportunities. That's
opportunities in what?
Like
jobs.
Money opportunities.
Okay.
Like give a motherfucker the same chances you give the next, you know. Just because you saw me on this street and I walk in here and ask for a job the next day, don't treat me like I'm not good enough for this job. Give me a chance, you know.
I have to agree with you.
That is one of the biggest problems. Like I've noticed it in myself.
Yes.
When I'm focused on something, when I'm doing something, I don't got time for certain shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give people the opportunity to make themselves busy and give them the same opportunity anybody else got, a lot of this shit will die down. You know, because we won't have time. We'll be too focused on getting the money that's being, you know, put in front of us.
Right.
You know, that's why you got scamming. That's why you got, because we not getting these opportunities, but we have to live as well.
Right.
You know, we still got to live. We got kids. We got families. And sometimes we the breadwinner. Sad to say. We the one taking care of the whole motherfucking, the whole yacht. Like, we got a yacht of motherfuckers behind we taking care of. But we can't go get a legal job. So what is there left to do?
Right.
Jump in the streets and make a way. Adapt. Make it happen.
So I got a question. So let's speak on shorties, like the kids of the neighborhood. So if somebody's a drug dealer and they come into the neighborhood, because what we're hearing a lot here in Chicago or city and big cities.
Because ain't no drug dealer just coming into no neighborhood.
Right. No,
you gotta already be there now.
Right. So if
Really?
no, he's speaking true. So basically, to get a kid involved in it, how would somebody who's already on that street or in that neighborhood get that kid involved? How would they lure shorties in to do this? Because they're saying like a lot of the kids are doing the killing is what we're hearing, right?
I mean,
a lot of the kids is like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I really don't.
Gangbangers.
I mean, like I said, like the younger generation that's involved, I really feel like they involved because they think that shit cool until they jump too far off that cliff and see that shit real, you know?
So it's been glorified for them.
Basically, like, cause all they seeing is, you know, our videos, you feel me? They seeing us having fun doing this shit, you know, they see a lot of money, they see unlimited weed, you know, they seeing shit they want, you know, until they actually jump out there, but like me personally, I never drug a shorty into this shit.
Yeah.
Like I always push the shorties away, and like I'm not finna put no gun in no shorty hand. You know, I'm not. Only way you gonna have a gun, nigga, you better come with your own shit.
Right.
You feel me? I'm not finna get no shorty no pack. None of that shit. Like I never been that type of person. I've never done that. You know, because it's so many other ways.
Yeah.
Like if I'm out here selling the packs, then shit, why make you sell them? Here, shorty, gonna get you something to eat.
Right.
You feel me? I always been that type of motherfucker. Just break them off, or if they dirty as hell, you feel me? I'll cut them for free. You feel me? Buy them a t-shirt, buy them some shoes, some little shit. You know, like just to make them know that they got somebody that care about them. You feel me?
Without
like,
putting them in harm.
yeah, you know, I ain't gonna lie. Like motherfucker, 15, they're around. I'll pass you the blunt if you smoke. You know, but I'm not gonna pass you no gun. You know, I ain't never been that type, and I probably never will.
So back to one of the things that we were talking about at the beginning. I told you that my brother was shot and killed, and I saw the guy that killed my brother face to face and what that anger did to me. And you spoke on your brother being killed, and there was an encounter where you had an encounter with somebody. Can you speak on that?
I mean, shit.
And I don't even know if you want to explain how your brother was killed or not, but
Police killed him.
okay.
I mean, the police killed my brother on the 4th of July,
This year?
2013.
2013.
Yeah, my younger brother. They killed him, and they basically said he had a gun. You know, normal story. You know, but it just came out that he did have a gun. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't have it when he got shot. You feel me? And they had no reason in the world to shoot him. You know, so we ended up. Laquan McDonald died. You know, and when they found out how wrong shit was going and how shit was being covered up, they got to investigate. And my brother was one of the 4 cases that was brought back up. You know, we didn't get no justice or nothing else was said for like, I think like 4 or 5 years after he died, you know. So now my brother's mom, she filed for a wrongful death suit. You know, when she seen all the shit that was going on, and they brought my brother case up on the news. So she filed for the suit, and then they got to digging deeper, and I was part of the case. You know why? Because that shit happened in my hood, and I was like one of the first responders, and I like had a physical encounter with some of the officers down there that day. You feel me? And it was just crazy, but
Running off emotions and all the other stuff, right?
yeah, I hit one of them in their shit. You feel me? Like he wasn't trying to tell me nothing. You feel me? And I knew by me being a quote unquote street nigga, you feel me? I knew they weren't gonna tell me shit. You feel me? So, like I say, I'm also a versatile person, and that versatility kicked in when I made it down there. I was a whole different person. It was certis, and I understand that, and this, that, and the third, you know, and being humble. But he looked me right in my face and said, I ain't telling you shit. So I took my fist and hit him right in his face. And they didn't react. You know, they didn't really do too much. They told my boys, like, they called us by name. Like, take Vail back on 55th. You feel me? Before we tased his ass. Lock him up. Yeah. So it didn't dawn on me that they was doing that because they was like, I feel now that I know the truth, I feel like they was just feeling bad.
Okay.
You know, like y'all know y'all bogus. You feel me?
What came of this wrongful death suit and the investigation?
Actually, my family won.
Did they?
Yeah, we had a great lawyer. You feel me? He a great lawyer and a great person to this day.
My goodness. So you're sitting here saying they killed my brother, and this is not speculation. Through court, and it was actually said they killed your brother.
Yes, like I know we had all the facts was laid out eventually. You know, he was shot in the back. You know, but
at what age was he?
He was 17. He was born on Christmas and he died on the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's a special person in my heart.
So tell me about the courtroom.
Shit. When I went in there, it was like any other courtroom. I didn't even expect half of the shit that unfolded inside them closed doors. You feel me? Like, once I seen, like, damn, y'all really did this shit. Like, I thought, you know, because for a long time, we didn't even know the real story. Like, we thought he was shot way more times than he was shot. It was all type of speculations, but we found out the facts, and then like I always used to sit on the right side of the courtroom, you know. And the day that they like basically said the shit, like they brought it out, I was sitting there and shit, and I noticed the dude that's like right here, but I really never seen him, like, you know. But this time it's like he was nervous as hell. He like kept tapping his pen and shit, and it made me always like lock in on him. And then they said something, but I think they showed the picture of him and verified that he was shot in the back.
So you have another one of your brothers here today, right? That
Yeah.
came with you, Quentin?
Yeah, I got Quinn.
Yeah. Would you like to kind of come and join us and tell us like how you feel like
Sure.
that was like a moment, right? For all of you all, that you kind of like had to face this challenging moment. So were you in the courtroom too?
Nah.
No. Okay.
It was just me. It was just me and my sister. My sister, she was part of the case. This is my brother on my dad's side. So we like, you know, we just shared brotherhood through that, you know. And we just had the support from my brother's mom, who I call my mom now, most of my life. You know, we had their support, but they wasn't part of the case because they wasn't requested to be. So he only knew what I came home and told him and what was on the news.
So like me being so close to my brother's killer and you being so close to your brother's killer, were your emotions flying then?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. My emotions was through the roof. Like, once I figured out, like, you did that shit, like, I wanted to smoke his ass right then and there, but I ain't had no gun. Like, I literally wanted to rip him to shreds with my bare hands. You feel me?
Of course, yeah.
Because I'm knowing, like, my whole thing about the case was I wanted him to go to jail if he was found wrong in a wrongful death suit.
Correct.
And from my understanding, if I'm found wrong in a wrongful death suit, I'm going to jail. So I'm like, okay, that's what I want, but it's not what I got. So I was not happy.
The police officer was not sent to jail.
He didn't go to jail. They ended up giving my brother and mom a few dollars or whatever they did. He didn't go to jail. He just got desk duty for a minute. But the other officers that was involved in the case, like, they was antagonizing me. You feel me? Like, the day after the verdict was reached, like, they came on the block, followed me 2-3 blocks. You feel me? I had to threaten to call a lawyer for him to leave me alone. You know, yeah, because the police knew me. You feel me? All the police knew me.
So how does it feel? You're watching your back between the op. I kind of like saying that. I don't know why. Sorry, guys. And now the police who, we're saying it in a general term, but these particular officers, not the entire police department, but these particular officers who were not taking their job seriously, and we all work with people who don't take their job seriously, were now essentially an op to you at this point, and now you're watching from both ends of the spectrum.
It was crazy.
That had to be a lot of stress on a young person. How are you coping?
I mean, shit, it's life. Like, that's the only conclusion I could come to. You feel me? Life come with a lot of twists and turns, obstacles and loops. You feel me? Like,
so this would be forward thinking to me.
You know, and shit, I just look at it like, this happened. And then I go back to prior shit that happened and shit that happened to other people. And I see it's just a cycle. Like, it's just a cycle. This shit goes on and on. You know, even though this is happening now, something's coming behind this. You know, so if I let this break me, I'm gonna be broke when this comes.
Right.
You know, so I just gotta adapt and find a way through it, no matter what it is. You know, this comes with life. Everybody die. It just hurt because of the way they die and that they are loved ones at the time they die. You know, but me losing so many people, it just affect me different now.
Yeah. You've now grown kind of so adapted to it that you don't have the same emotional effect. Is that accurate?
I mean, to some extent.
And before our listeners judge, before the people who watch this judge, that is the same effect that I have working with my coworkers who see shooting victims in the city of Chicago every day. They're very desensitized. And we get to this place where we are immune, as you said, Quincy. And I don't want to be
and you really can't be
immune.
weak.
I don't want to be unaffected. I want to be affected every day by every shooting, by every young man that I talk to, by every death. I want to feel that, because if you stop feeling it, you stop fighting. And so to everyone who hears me today, you cannot get desensitized. You have to bring it really back in. This is a life. This is a person who grew up playing games, wanting to be a football player, who's asking for help. We have to stay affected. If we're not affected, we will stop caring.
We lose hope.
Absolutely.
Lose hope. And the amazing thing about it is, man, we share something that between us. I'm a father now.
Mm-hmm.
Love my little kid. He's 3 years old, and you're a father also, right?
Yep, I'm an 8-year-old
Got an 8-year-old
son.
Got an 8-year-old son. So I got a 3-year-old son. You got an 8-year-old son. One of my biggest fears is to have my son grow up in Chicago, man.
That's one of my biggest fears too.
Yours
Really?
too?
Yeah, hell yeah. And I don't want this for my son. And everything that I didn't learn, I try to teach him. You know, and I go so far as not even rolling up a blunt in front of my son. You feel me? And people also look at us like we don't give a fuck about our kids off the lifestyle we live. We don't take care of them. We don't try to teach them better. But ever since day one, I always try to teach my son better than, because I don't want him to live the shoes I live in. You know, I want him to have better.
I like that you said that, because that's a correlation to you.
Yeah.
When the stereotype is, you guys don't take care of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing in action. You're MIA all the time.
Yeah.
You know, the woman has to do it all. I like to hear from the fathers.
That ain't the case though. Like, I'm very involved. I'm as involved as my baby mama allowed me to be. You feel me? When she mad, you know how that shit go. You know, it be like that. But
I don't know, Vail, but it's say so.
I'm saying, like, you know, when a woman get mad, you feel me? If it ain't her way, it ain't no way. You know, it's, in some senses, you know, with some women. You know,
I gotta jump in just for a second, because I'm gonna have to save you guys. You're getting ready to get attacked. There's a bunch of angry women right now. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this on their behalf. I have a brother.
Mm-hmm.
We and I watch him struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And to my beautiful women, there are some of you that are really struggling and have had some issues with the other parents of your child. But to the ones who are not, and they really are good people who want to be in these children's lives, you got to take away your pain and let that child have a father. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you can beat me up. Don't beat them up, because I've seen it. I've seen it in my own world. So it's not okay. It's not okay.
It's not okay, because it don't, to me, like I said, I'm big on adapting, you know, and it ain't gonna, it hurts me, but it ain't gonna hurt me as much as it's gonna hurt him.
Absolutely.
You feel me? And I had to learn that, like, no matter what a woman do to a man with a child, that's still that man's child.
Yeah.
Right.
He not gonna love him no different.
Yeah.
Right.
But you doing this shit from the child point of view, he might get or she might get, I don't want to be there. And that's a change the outlook from a child to a parent. You know, and I'm actually doing much better in my child life.
Great.
You know, me and my son, we close. I would like to be closer to him, but he my everything. I live for him. You feel me? I make better decisions because of him.
And that's the amazing thing about it with the kid, your son, growing up seeing you. Like my son, he's 3 now, so he's in the mimicking stage. So if I'm sitting there like this, he looks at me and he does this. If I'm talking with my hands, he's sitting there doing this. And it's cute because you just look off to the side and I'm like, he's really copying me. You want to say, stop copying me. But the truth is, I'm his role model.
Yeah.
I'm a superhero.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's important for us as men to lead them in the right way. But then again, when you're trying to lead them in the right way and you stuck in life and you can't move forward in that direction, they're not dumb, if I can say that. They're smart. They're super smart.
Absolutely.
They're gonna start getting that street smart. So they're gonna see how dad move. I need to move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ops of this. You know, they're gonna start learning stuff. And as they start adapting, again, we still the role models. So then when that kid's father is gone, then he's gonna look up to somebody else to be a role model. Because we always had to have role models. Even at my age, I almost told you my age, but I had to stop. Even at my age.
Tell yours, I won't tell mine.
Even at my age, I still have to have role models.
Yes.
But I also have to be a mentor for a mentee, you know? Like somebody has to look up to me as I'm looking up to somebody else.
Right.
Whether it's my son or me looking up to my dad or whatever. Babe, we can make mistakes in life, but we can always fix them.
Everybody make mistakes.
Yeah.
I think it's owning, being accountable for what you've done.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, like,
Right.
learning,
Yeah.
you gotta embrace the mistakes you make and learn from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to be given the opportunity to do that, right? Like
Yeah.
people can't just be like, you did this and now I'm casting you off to the sea of forgetfulness.
Yeah.
No. It's
It's
insane.
just crazy. Like,
What are we doing?
one thing I would say, speaking to my son, is I just want better for him. You know, I want the best for my son. Like, I want him to have everything I didn't. I want him to have an opportunity to the opportunities that I didn't have. You feel me? So, with that being said, like I say, I really filter myself around my son. I do what I can to show him better. You feel me? The advice I give him, I even try to take it sometimes to set a better example.
Mhm.
You know, because I know that my son looked to me for everything. You know, and it's good. It feels good when you actually that superhero for your child. You feel me? I didn't always have that, and when I got it a little recently, it felt real good to me.
That's
too,
awesome.
You know, and it just solidified the fact that I live for my son. You feel me? And I ain't gonna let nobody take me from him, and I ain't gonna try to do nothing to get taken from him.
That's awesome.
So just to circle back around to a question that you asked.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, Candace asked you, what made you kind of adapt to me being from South Carolina? And I answered the part of what made me adapt to you. But what made you kind of take on and
Well,
the idea of love?
it was basically how you presented yourself. You feel me? Like when you met me, it was always an all love situation. You feel me? It's like when I came in the gym, you was one of them faces that lit up when everybody else's did. You feel me? And then out of respect for Pastor Moody, I automatically respected you.
Yeah.
You know, and to see that you was similar to him, you know, and you had the same intentions he had, it just made me lean towards you more. And when you reach out to me, it just made me feel like, damn, you know, it's somebody that want to help a motherfucker. It's somebody that want to hear what I got to say. You
Yeah.
feel me? And it's just you're a real motherfucker. You always been real ever since I met you. You feel me?
Aww.
So
Tear Bear.
that's something to appreciate and to keep around. You know.
Jay's gonna cut that out.
But here's what I love about this. There's you, there's Vail, but there's so many different aspects about you and different versions of you. And what we see on the news is this: South side of Chicago or West side of Chicago.
Good point.
And they just loop Vail and Tarrance and anybody that's in the South side of Chicago,
So,
your brother,
Yes.
they loop everybody in that
Yeah.
same thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
that's South side of Chicago, don't go there.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, we got fathers over there. You know, we have a kid who's 21 to 23, playing basketball in the church. We have a pastor that's over there that's opened up his door saying, community, come in. At the risk of my life and my community, I want to come in and show these kids love. We have a kid, I'm saying kid, but like a 20-year-old that wants to be the difference, that was caught in circumstances that he feels like he couldn't get out of, but he has to survive. And by surviving, that means surviving by any means possible to save you and yours. You also have a kid that's living inside of a community on a block who embraces him, because they know that this is a kid that has so many different personalities. That's amazing. He's not just, you know, a gangbanger, but he's, you know, so-and-so's son,
Right.
so-and-so's grandson. You know, I've known him since he was 2 to 3, and he respects me saying by yes ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am, no sir, or whatever. This is somebody with personality. You got dreams, you have a vision, you got a goal, and you have a son, and you want better in your life. And I think that's very important for people to understand and to see, because what they do is they just loop us all in like, yo, and the truth is, it's a lot of African Americans with this violence that's going on in our neighborhoods. And we are African American, and they do stereotype us just from your pants being sagging or whatever. And like you said earlier, there are ops and there's police officers. Sometimes police officers can be viewed as gang members. They got their own gang that they're doing. There's good ones and there's bad ones. And then at the same time, you know, you got friends who are standing between you and the ops. to save your life because your life to them is value. They found worth in your life, and before you just thought we were just friends, but now that dude is more than a friend. You know what I mean? Like he is there for you, from day one until now. You know, I don't know if he's still alive or if he isn't, but
no, actually he is, and whenever I see him, you know, it's all love.
yeah,
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
and I don't even know if you was your son alive by then?
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
my son. My son was he was probably about 6,
Okay.
like just turning 6.
And the crazy thing about it is, in a previous conversation, Candace was talking to you. She said, "What happened shortly thereafter?" And you said that you packed up your stuff.
Oh hell yeah, I'm gone. Feel me? They know my low. You feel me? A real nigga ain't gonna
What's
stay in
your
the
low?
same place too long. Your location.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, this I'm learning so much today.
So they knew where you
Understand
stayed.
what
He was
I'm
at. He knew where you were at, and at any point in time, he could have came in there, and then your girlfriend, your son, everybody would have been at risk of being shot.
Yeah, and I might have not been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might have not been there.
Right.
Why? Because I go out and I work.
yeah.
You know, I was really working a job and everything.
Yeah.
So
That gentleman did
That's
so
forward thinking.
much more.
that's
Yeah.
my forward thinking.
Yeah, he
Like,
did
I
so
know
much
what could
more than
possibly
Two
come up
lives, yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
to prevent it from even happening again. I'm just gonna remove myself.
From that scenario, yeah.
So, you know, we brought Vail on. We have Quentin here. Tarrance, you know, wrote face to face, and when we're face to face with a real person, not our speculation, not what we think. Like Tarrance just said, which I thought was beautifully put, not the south side of Chicago, but a person. If we view each one of them as a person, and we see them as fathers, and we see them as men, and we see them as wanting more, maybe we will take a different approach. But this is a true face-to-face moment. Like, we're all from different spectrums, and we have to take that into account. We're from different spectrums, but we all had some of the same encounters. You know, we all dealt with, in a sense, compassion fatigue, or just being on the side of lack of compassion. It kind of goes hand in hand. We've all been immune to things. And I think we just all have to just realize, no matter our differences, they're very similar. You love your child. Oh, and you also love cats. He likes cats.
Hey, look.
He loves
Look,
cats. Like, listen.
Let's get this straight. I love all animals.
Yeah.
I'm real big on animals.
See, we got an animal
I love
lover.
animals.
You guys are not gonna tell me that I'm not talking to a real life that needs to be saved. You're not gonna tell me that. You're not gonna say that his tattoos shaped him. You're not gonna say that he made mistakes and that's all that he is. He likes cats. I don't like cats. Which one of us should go? I'm just saying.
It's funny because he did tell you. He said the first thing I did was I moved. I got my cat. I got my son.
kid.
Yeah,
The cat came first. So he was making sure his cat was fine. But even out of all of that, what we have here in Chicago is there is a lot of hurt and there's a lot of pain.
Yes.
And I know that the news see it, and I know that the people hear it on the radio. And even my dad in South Carolina will call me. He'll be like, "Hey, I hear this many people shot up the weekend." I'm like, "Really?"
Where?
I'm like, right, because I try not to watch the news. I'm like, "Really? Where?" And I'm like, I don't want to turn it on because I'm in it. And I know it's surrounding me, but I don't want that to be my focus, and I don't want that to be my fear, because I know that there's so much more out there. I know that we have men out here that want to change, that have gone through it, and they have the answers to the problems of the kids that's coming behind them. And I love it.
Makes sense.
And I love it. But I know that he's gonna eventually reach out, and if we change one person with this story, your story, I think it's definitely worth
It's
it.
a start.
Absolutely.
It's a start, just to get it out of there. And I think that what I want to do here really quick is, as we're closing, I want you, if you don't mind,
I'm sorry.
I want you to speak into the camera to your son. If you wanted to leave something to your son, Bill, a word of advice or something positive for your son, what would be the advice that you would give him? Or to the many sons that's out there whose fathers may or may not be there, Chicago or any other city. What good advice would you give them?
I mean, I would say to all the kids, my son the most, you know, just the advice and the guidance that we is trying to give y'all, just take it. You feel me? Don't overlook it. You know, take in everything and use what you can, because everything you might not be able to use. But just know that it's a different way of life. Like, and by y'all being young, y'all still got the opportunity to have a good life and to do the right things, you know, and don't make the same mistakes that we out here making and we've made. You know, just learn from some of the mistakes that happened before you. You know, just listen to Daddy. You feel me?
Couldn't say it better.
And yeah, I couldn't say that any better. And the thing about it, as a father, from a father to a father, to you at home or wherever you are, as a kid, we love you. Like, we would definitely give our life for your life. We want to definitely let you know that forward thinking is possible. Make every decision and think about the choices, the consequence of your choices that you make.
Yeah.
And try to be the difference, you know? Don't just listen to us being the difference, become the difference and make the change that's needed to push us forward as you come face to face with your daily problems or your daily decisions as you're growing up in your neighborhood. But again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, joining us here with Face to Face with Tarrance. And I had some amazing guests, and I thank each and every one of y'all for coming on here, open up your hearts and sharing the love that you was given. I love you, we love you, and we're always here for you. Thank you.
Bye, guys.